Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back on my channel. Today's video is going to be a book haul video. I was filming for my makeup channel, clearly. I'm kind of scary looking right now. And I realized that I had a few boxes that have been accumulating, some books that I've been recently hoarding, and I just wanted to share them with you. Although, to be honest, I am titling this unboxing because there's a few boxes. But realistically speaking, I may have, peeked into the boxes. I'm admitting it. I'm still waiting for the third book in the Wayward Pines series by Blake Crouch. I was trying to binge read, but it has not yet arrived. So I do, however, have another one of those boxes which contain the book that I'm currently reading and I have been reading for a while. To be honest, I have not been reading a lot. I'm not even in a slump. I'm just super busy, so I'm really trying. But this month, it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But this one will be finished very soon. I'm like more than halfway through this. And it's the last Stephen King that I'm reading this year because I need a break. But basically, Pet Sematary is you're following a family and their pet dies and then maybe it comes back to life. I'm just gonna leave it very vague like this because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not that creepy so far, although I do have a little chunk, like 100 pages left. But I'm kind of confused. I'm enjoying it though. It's a good confusing so far. Which sounds very appealing, but trust me, so far I'm enjoying it. The rest of the things that are in this box I have not yet played with, so I didn't completely, ruin my unboxing. Okay, so you're gonna notice that I have been wanting to read a lot of sci-fi, so there's a bunch in there that are like classic sci-fis, but that I don't know much about. I just have heard great reviews, or they seem to have great reviews, and that's all I need to go into it. I just feel like I've been reading a lot of popular YA, either fantasy, contemporary, whatever that are popular right now on BookTube, and some of them I did really enjoy, but some of them are kind of making me feel a little slumpish. I'm just really not enjoying myself, so I think next year I'm going to really focus on reading more sci-fi and fantasy. You're going to see at the end of the year I'm going to do my stats, and I haven't read as much fantasy sci-fi as I usually do, so maybe that has contributed to my weird mood reading. But the first sci-fi book that I've been wanting to read is Pandora's Star by Peter F. Hamilton, and again, don't know much except that it's supposed to be a classic sci-fi, and it's a really big book though. Don't be fooled, it doesn't look that big, but there's almost 1,000 pages. But the review seems to be good. He seems to be a really popular author in sci-fi, but I've read nothing from him, and this is the first book to read from him, so I'm doing that. I also wanted to read more fantasy, and I've been wanting to read some Mark Lawrence, and I believe this is the first book, Prince Fools, which again, don't know much except that it's just a classic fantasy book that is really popular, so I wanted to read his books, and I believe this is the best way to start. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the trilogy to start with. Let me continue with new books, because I don't buy a lot of new books. Book Depository is kind of limit because they're usually pretty affordable, but I bought a few books that are new that I want to read. This one you have seen in my TBR, but I needed to still include it. It's The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. I loved the Golden Compass trilogy when I was a kid. Read it in French. I need to reread it in English. I'll probably do that in January, start the year, because my goal next year, spoiler alert, I want to read a bunch of big books. That one is probably going to be the first one that I do, because I have the trilogy all in one book that you're going to see in a second. So yeah, this is basically, I believe it's 50 years before or something, and that's all I care about. Actually, I really want to read this month, but I need to finish Pet Sematary. It's taking me forever for whatever reason. So I was mentioning the Golden Compass. Apparently, the trilogy is called Is Dark Materials. So I also purchased this gorgeous edition. It's kind of small actually, of the trilogy, and I'm probably going to be reading this in January. Again, it looks not that big, but there's 3 books in there, so there's over 1,000 pages. Will definitely work for my challenge of reading big books, and I'm excited. I really cannot wait to reread them. I've only read the last book once, so I need to read the whole trilogy. More new books. This I also mentioned quickly in my TBR because I'm hoping I'm going to be reading them, but we'll see. And it is the new Harry Potter books. They also came out with the 3rd illustrated book, which I didn't purchase because I'm keeping it for an idea for Christmas gifts, which for sure someone's going to get it for me. So I wanted to leave them that option because you can't buy all the books if you want people to buy you books. So, but I could not resist to get this one. Look at that cover. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. I barely knew what these books were about, but I decided I don't care. I just want to buy every Harry Potter related books ever. So do you do the same thing? Because I just couldn't resist. This one is a history of magic. Oh, like, look. I mean, I couldn't not get it. You get Diagon Alley. And if I'm correct, it's literally a history of magic, but like in our world. So basically how, like, potions and all that stuff. So I will be probably going through this month, but again, that cover. And then the other one is A Journey Through a History of Magic, which I don't really love the cover of this one, but it's fine. I don't even know what this one is about, realistically. But, like, it's Harry Potter stuff. I'm gonna be enjoying this for sure. So, again, I'm probably gonna read this month. So this is the part where I go through my book outlet haul section. As always, I do have a book outlet page, so if you want to see the books that I have purchased from them, you can click the link and you'll see them. Some of these I know what they're about, some of them I was just tempted because I've heard people mention them. That's usually how it works. So you know how I said I was in a sci-fi mood? I'm basically in a science mood in general. So when I saw this book that is called The Cosmic Tourist, which is the 100 most awe-inspiring places in the universe, I needed to get it. It's basically pictures about stuff and space and just explanations. Nothing else to say about it. I just wanted to get it. I am in a mood to read some cosmic space stuff. I have a few other books. The first one, I'm probably not gonna love it if I'm being realistic, because I just said that I was kind of over YA books in general. But I'm gonna be going into it having low expectations and just enjoying myself. I've already mentioned in the past that I really love magical school. And this is a magical school book, so whenever I'm in the mood for something a little lighter and fluffy, I'm going to be reading X All by Rachel Hawkins. And it's basically a girl that has magical powers and she is sent to a magical school whenever she uses her power when she's not supposed to. So to be punished, she's sent to school, which, I mean, can I be punished and sent to a magical school? I wish. So I've heard so many people mention this book, and the second book I believe just came out. This is Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake, and it's three different sisters who have magical powers, and in order to choose the queen, they have to fight when they are 18 or something. So they have to kill each other basically. And I've heard mixed reviews, but again, I've been in the mood for like magical powers, so this will happen. I have been trying to read every Brandon Sanderson books in the universe, so I saw this one. This is Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson, and this one is a middle grade book, I believe, which sometimes I'm lucky with them, sometimes I don't really enjoy them. We'll see where I stand there, but it's a Brandon Sanderson's book, so I just wanted to test it. And it's the first one, and there's 5 so far, so I'll read the first one and I'll decide if I continue or not, but I'm excited. More sci-fi. I saw this book and I have heard a few people mention that it's a great sci-fi book, so I grabbed The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi, which he wrote the Old Man's War, which I do own, but I have yet to read. But I tend to do that. When I hear people mentioning an author, I tend to just get a few of his books when I see them, so that will happen to you. Next, I have heard some great things about this YA fantasy series. This is the first book, The Warrior's Heir by Cinda William Chima. I've never read any of her books, so let me know if that's the best way to start, because I believe she has another series. Is it The Demon King or something like that? So let me know, but I saw it for cheap on Book Outlet, so I had to grab it. And then last but not least, I know a lot of people read a lot of nonfiction during November. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that or not, because again, I'm so busy, it's a bit ridiculous. But I saw this one and I just wanted to get it. This is The Theory of Almost Everything by Robert Order? I don't know how you say his name, but the cover is like too light to really show it well on screen. But it's basically a book about everything. And it has been recommended to me because I do like nonfiction that are related to science. So I will let you know if it's worth it if you are into it. Are you interested in hearing more about nonfiction or not? Because I never know if that's something people like to see on BookTube or not, but I'm into it. Nonfiction that are related to science is just my thing. And then last but not least, I have a few used books, which, yes, they're usually in pretty good condition, or I pick the ones that are in good condition, but sometimes they have a few little pages and it breaks my heart a little. They've been abused. And this one, there's 2 nonfiction and 3 sci-fi books because when I'm in the mood. Let's start with nonfiction because I just talked about one. First one, I think everyone has probably heard of this little guy recently. Elon Musk, this is the How the Billionaire CEO of SpaceX and Tesla is Shaping Our Future by Ashley Vance. And I just wanted to read more about him. So I thought getting this book would be a good idea. Does anybody else find it kind of awkward whenever there's like people on the cover, especially when you're reading about someone? Maybe I'm just used to like other books with no people on it. And the other nonfiction is by Stephen King. I did mention that I wasn't planning on reading more Stephen King this year, but you know, I went a little overboard. But I wanted to read his nonfiction on writing a memoir of the craft, which is a really, I don't know why I freaked out for a second. Whew, I thought the book was falling. This was also recommended to me. A lot of people say that it's like one of his best books, so we'll have to read it probably next year and let you know if I think it's worth it or not. And the rest, as I mentioned, are sci-fi books. A lot of these actually are like small sizes, which I usually don't purchase when they're new, but if I find them for cheap, I can't resist. The first one is Cosmos by, no, it's not Cosmos, it's Contact. We Were Not Alone by Carl Sagan. It's just a classic sci-fi. This one is kind of older actually, let me think. Let me check that. Yeah, it was published in 1985, so I was not born. But I've heard that it still holds up pretty well even nowadays, so I will be reading this. I've been wanting to read more classic sci-fi, so... And this one should be pretty known if you like sci-fi. This is consider... Oh, I don't know how to say that. Phlebas? Phlebas. By Ian M. Banks. This is part of the Culture series, which I believe you can read in any order. Confirm this, please, if you know, because... I'm probably still gonna try and read them in order, but they're basically all like separate stories that are related. Let me know if I read wrong, because I believe that's what I read online, but basically sci-fi stuff, series, classic, wanted to try it for myself. Oh my god, you can see there's like a bunch in that series, so I will have to see. If I like it, I'll have like a bunch to read, which is always the best. And this one was published in '87, so clearly like classic sci-fis. And then last but not least, I got Spin by Robert Charles Wilson. And I swear I knew what this was about. Now I can't remember exactly. But I think this one is like a psychological thriller-ish sci-fi. And if I'm not wrong, basically one day like the lights in the sky kind of goes off and you realize that it's basically not really the universe. There's like a shield or something. I think this is what it was about. But I have heard great things and I saw it, so I just had to get it. So those are all the books that I have purchased in the last month. I hope you didn't find it boring. I feel like it was kind of a weird haul, but yeah, those are the books that I have been accumulating. Let me know if you have read any of these and what you think about them, because I always like to know your thoughts on them and which one I should prioritize. I'm really tempted to read this one, but I think I'm gonna read the Book of Dust first. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I will be putting on the screen 2 of the videos that I've done. I highly recommend you check those out if you're interested in watching more videos. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It helps other people find the video. Don't forget to subscribe also, because you don't want to miss any future videos. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.